Hello everyone, and welcome to 7 tips that every Sprite Melffy player must know. Before we jump into the video, I wanted to give a huge thank you to my friend Salim for assisting me with making this video. He put some time aside for me to help simulate the other side of the following DB clips. I've split these tips into 4 general Sprite tips and 3 general tips regarding the Melffy package. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful and enjoy. Number 1. Detaching material off of Gigantic's effect to summon can occur on any Xyz monster that you control. When targeted for removal with a card like Dogmatica Punishment, if you have another Xyz with material, you can detach off them instead. This also means that if you have a Gigantic with 0 material, you can use another Xyz's monster instead, and that you can also use a card like Super Polymerization to dodge an imperm. Number 2. You can make a Zeus without activating any effects. Why might this come up? In the scenario where you get Calamity locked or hit with a Feather Storm, Zeus might be the best way to come back. Simply normal summon any level 2 and special summon any Sprite from your hand to make a Ninja Mosquito. Because Sprites don't activate the effects to summon, and because Ninja Mosquito doesn't have to activate its effect for its battle destruction prevention effects, you can then make a 4 material Zeus with Downed and the Mosquito. The same can be done when facing a Floo player who has used a Feather Storm. M-Pen stops attack position special summon monsters from activating the effects, so to make sure to summon Zeus in defense. Just be sure to remove the Dreaming Town and the map before committing to the play, with cards like Lightning Storm, Evenly or Cosmic, as Riser will make this play a lot harder. Number 3. Now, if you've been watching my past couple of videos, you would have heard me talk about this underrated card, Herald of Pure Light. It can be used to recycle every graveyard-reliant deck's favorite card, Dimension Shifter. It can, however, also be used to reset your hand if you bricked with both a Nimble, Beaver, and an Angler, so that you have an Angler to send off Sprint. In case you haven't, here is the combo commentated over really quickly. Here it goes. Normal summon a Nimble Beaver, declare its effect to summon a Nimble Angler from the deck. Use both to make a Gigantic and use its effect to summon from the deck, detaching Nimble Beaver. Summon Blue, search Jet, and then summon Jet to search for a spell or trap. Use both Sprite monsters to make a Herald of Pure Light, declare Pure Light's effect, detaching and targeting Beaver for cost, to add back the Beaver, and then shuffle the Angler back into the deck. Okay, from here you can use them both to make a Sprint, which will then dump the Angler you just shuffled to summon 2 Beavers from the deck. Keep in mind that you can also target to add back whatever you detach off Pure Light, but you have to have a monster in your graveyard beforehand to legally activate Pure Light. From here you can make the rest of your board, in this case a Melffy board. Alright, that was pretty fun. For number 4, for the final general Sprite tip, be careful with locking yourself on your turn. I'm sure you're all great at playing around Starter and Gigantic's lock on your turn, but keep in mind that they also stop Herald of the Arclight from being summoned off of your Melffy Penny, as well as tech cards like Super Poly. This might come up if you're using Starter on your opponent's turn during the start of their battle phase to play around a potential Evenly, so make sure you pay attention to avoid making any illegal plays. If you drop other cards like Draw and Lockbird on your opponent's turn, keep in mind that you won't be able to search off of your own caddy, so try and do it after the search, but before the Herald summon, as Herald prevents cards like Droll, Veiler, and Crow, cards that need to be sent to the graveyard for cost, from activating. We're now moving on to the Melffy side. Number 5. Melffy Caddy can be used to search follow-up. In some scenarios where you're likely to live the next turn, say if you trade hand traps for hand traps, Caddy might be better off being used to search for a Nimble Beaver for a normal summon next turn as opposed to Penny. In any scenario, if you think making a Herald of the Arclight is worse than a Beaver for next turn, provided that you don't die before the next turn, search a Beaver instead. Number 6. Melffy Penny's effect to special summon itself forces you to synchro summon using itself and a Melffy in hand. If you no longer have Caddy however, or if you're locked into 2s by the effect of Starter on your opponent's turn, you can still special Penny during the end of your opponent's turn for an additional body for your turn. Or, you can use it to block one direct attack during the battle phase. It also has a second effect that rarely comes up, but can still be useful. This is to, during your end phase, target one of your Beast Xyz monsters and to attach it to that monster as material. In my deck list, this means that you can attach it to the Melffy of the Forest, or more commonly, Mannequin Cat for either a bigger Zeus or for more Xyz material fodder for Mannequin's effect to summon from the grave. Number 7. The Melffy package acts as a perfect counter to Kashtira cards. If you weren't around during the Kashtira format, you might not know the Melffy of the Forest and Melffy Caddy act as the perfect end to your Kashtira opponent's turns. When they special any Kashtira monster, in this case Fenrir, trigger Caddy to bounce back. Caddy is going to search for Penny. On resolution, both Fenrir and Melffy of the Forest will trigger, but because they have turn player priority, they must be Chain Link 1. Regardless of whether they use Fenrir or Unicorn or even Ogre to banish, Forest will act like a finished chain to permanently prevent their monster from attacking and negate their effects. Keep in mind that this effect is permanent even if Melffy of the Forest leaves the field. If the other player doesn't have a way to extend, such as Kashtira Birth, Rise Hard in Hand, or Theosis, they effectively have to pass there, as Kashtira monsters need an empty board to freely inherently summon. Even if they do attempt any of these, you have your Sprint Bounce, your Carrot to negate spells, and hand traps to stop follow-up. Before I end the video, a couple of quick shoutouts to some members of this community. This video was inspired by BC Mockingbird with a ones comment, who then pointed out a couple of cool interactions I showed in a video that aren't too obvious to the newer players. The second shoutout goes out to Shuji4991, who mentioned making a Sprite masterclass video, which while this video hasn't quite reached that stage, is a start of making more educational content on the deck. He has also been showing ongoing support on basically every video, so thank you once again. If you have more video ideas of your own, please leave them in the comments. Thanks for all the support everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.